Hi, I wanted to talk today about the concept of shadow work, what it is, why it's called that, because I've been hearing that question a lot on several of the different Facebook groups I'm on. So let's look at the concept first, or the wording at least. So, what is our shadow? Well, it's the darkness that's inside of us. So, since I can sense inside my body, I can sense that the tension we hold in our connective tissue is dark. Once we acknowledge that tension, once we release it, it actually releases and the darkness releases. And what is left is the light that is already underneath it. So that is the shadow. I also call it inner work because it's looking inside of us, deep inside of us. So you could use the word inner work or the phrase inner work or shadow work. And it is actually work because we actually have to use our mind, our conscious mind, to choose to do the work. So, what is shadow work exactly? What do we have to do? It involves looking at ourselves, looking at everything about us that takes away from our inner peace. Now, there are many places we could start with that. It involves either looking at our thoughts, looking at our emotions, looking at our reactions, going through our memories, or even looking at our physical aches and pains. Whether we realize it or not, they're actually all connected. And if we start with one of those things, it can lead us back layer by layer through other things as well. So it doesn't really matter where we start with this process. It just matters that we start, because we want to start doing this inner work if we want to wake up, if we want life to change. So the first place to start is to start noticing how you're feeling physically and emotionally during the day. Are you holding yourself tight? Are you not breathing? Are you feeling an emotion? Once you are aware of something, then you can do something about it. So you need a technique that's actually going to release the energy, the stuck energy. You can't do it with your mind alone, with your thinking mind. You can't just decide to release that energy or that emotion or that memory. It's actually stored inside as tension in the connective tissue. So there needs to be some action involved, some physical action involved to release the energy. That's one of the reasons I recommend EFT, because it's actually a physical aspect of tapping on the body to help release that energy from the nervous system or from the connective tissue. But there are other ways that can do the same thing. Eventually you can be able to focus with your senses enough that you can release using the sensing mind, not the thinking mind. There's actually a physical aspect involved in that. So keep that in mind if you're trying to choose a technique, or seeing if the technique you already have has a physical aspect to it, because if it does, it should work. If it doesn't, you might want to check out another technique that does have a physical aspect to it. So I'm going to use EFT as an example because that's the one I know best. So now you're aware of some feeling in the body, some emotion or some pain or some reaction that's happening. Once you have that, you can use the technique. You can tap on that discomfort that you're feeling. You can tap on the pain, describe it using words, and the words you're using are those that are going to focus your mind on feeling the pain or the tension inside. So it might be something like, I can feel this tension deep inside my stomach. And those words are focusing my attention on that feeling inside, because it's the attention, the attention, the focus on that allows the energy to release. So as you're noticing something, you would tap about it and release that energy until you come back to peace. Then you could go on with your day, notice another thing. Or if you wanted to, you could work through your memories one by one and tap on those to release the energy of those. Now that is deeper shadow work, right? That can start bringing up things in your life, because once you've released one layer of tension or emotion, it opens up the next layer to be felt. So just know that as you're going about it. If you want to go fast, that's the way to do it. But if you want to go a little more gently, just notice throughout the day what you're feeling. And each time you notice or become aware, use a technique and bring yourself back to peace. So after you've tapped on whatever discomfort it is, notice if there's a shift. Perhaps the pain has moved somewhere else. Perhaps it's slightly diminished. Perhaps another thought or another memory popped up in your mind, or the emotion shifted to a different emotion. If you notice that, then tap on that. You've released one layer, and the next layer has shown itself to be felt, to be acknowledged, to be released. So work with that, and you can keep going. You can work from layer to layer to layer. Now, it can be a little exhausting to do this work because it really is work. Your body is shifting, the energy in your body is shifting and releasing. So realize that you might get tired. So maybe start this later in the day if you're going to be doing some really deep shadow work. But this is how we peel back the layers of the onion, one layer at a time. So that's it. That's what shadow work is. Become aware, notice, acknowledge and feel, and it will release. Become aware, notice, acknowledge and feel it, and it will release. Layer by layer by layer by layer. That is what shadow work is. Notice anything that is not peaceful, acknowledge it, feel it, and it will release. That is it. As you go, your self-awareness deepens, so you become more able to notice the things, more able to notice the subtle things that are affecting your peace. And then you're working at a deeper level of self-awareness. Now, I did recently publish a workbook that goes along with my book, A Pathway to Insight. So if you want questions that will help you bring up your shadow, which is also called ego, to bring up that darkness inside, I've got a lot of questions in there that will help you access those memories of things that might be taking you away from peace. So that is available to you if you're interested, but feel free to do that work on your own because you absolutely can do it on your own. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me. Hope you have a good week. Bye-bye.